What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Dragon Age Dreadwolf and if it is a lock that it appears at Summer Games Fest. I personally believe it is a lock, and I know that's a scary thing to do, especially for somebody like me. Scary thing to nearly guarantee something is going to appear somewhere, but I just feel so good about it from what they've said on the EA side of things. So the connections with Jeff Keighley, I just truly, like, my jaw would hit the floor. I can't imagine the game is not at Summer Games Fest. So what I want to do in this video is explain why and then talk a little bit about kind of the expectations for when we do see this thing, because I think it's kind of high. So number one, why do I think it's going to be there? Well, you go to the EA side of things and they say that you're going to get the full-on reveal, big reveal in the summer. Now, the summer doesn't have to be June. In fact, if you're going literally technically, Summer Games Fest is not in the summer, right? Because summer, I think, is like June 20th, June 21st. Summer Games Fest, I think, is June 7th. So, I mean, if you want to be nitpicky, which, hey, if you want to do it, you want to do it. I guess you could say that. But I truly believe summer in the gaming industry really means June to even, I mean, maybe even September you can stretch to being summer nowadays to gamers. So you have that, okay? From the EA side of things, no matter what, you're getting this game's full-on reveal by August at the latest. Now, from the Jeff Keighley side of things, why I just think it's obvious is you have a very big platform there. Now, not just a big platform. To be fair, there's actually several big platforms. This thing could appear at a PlayStation showcase. This thing could appear at the Xbox event. This thing could appear at Gamescom, which Jeff Keighley also hosts, right? Technically, there's more than one show from the end of May or beginning of June through August. There's actually 4 or so. And actually, even additionally, I guess, EA could do their own thing. Now, it's been several years since, I think it was called EA Forward, right? I actually liked those. I mean, I don't know if they were, like, spectacular, but I liked it when, like, literally everybody did their own thing. So, you know, they could do that. Could they do it? To be honest with you, it just doesn't, like, that's not the way they do things anymore, right? They've really backed out of it, and that's fine. So there are a couple big shows for sure, but why do I think, like, a Jeff Keighley show? And I just can't imagine Gamescom, because I think you want to do it in earlier in the summer. Well, Jeff Keighley, I don't know what Jeff Keighley has over these people, but Jeff Keighley has been attached to Dragon Age since the beginning. I want to count one day because I always throw out a number. I never know if I'm actually right, but I feel like Dragon Age has been at a Jeff Keighley show, which would be Games Fest, Gamescom, or Game Awards. I want to say at least 4 times, and it could actually be more. Maybe I want to predict 5 and see where the numbers land, but it's been an insane amount. And is it ever anything gigantic? Well, I mean, like, you normally have some developer diaries. I remember a couple years, I think maybe Summer Games Fest 2020, maybe was that the first one that he ever did? I remember it being like a developer diary where it was like the panning camera outside and it was talking to a couple like BioWare leads talking about Dragon Age. That's just engraved in my memory for some reason, but it'll be those kind of levels that we've gotten so far for Dragon Age. This is the big one, and I really think, just if we really want to lock it in, this can be a end of the show thing. You know how Jeff Keighley likes to start the show hot and end the show hot, right? And he's ended shows in various ways, but normally, besides like Fast and Furious, it's been pretty good. You know, it could just be for like a specific group of people sometimes, but it tends to be pretty big. So I would not be surprised at all if Dragon Age appeared there and it was the final game to kind of close it out. And now again, like, you would need a good 10 or so minutes. You got to show gameplay, and this goes to, okay, expectations. When Dragon Age is shown, it needs to be big. Now, kind of 2 different parts to it. What needs to be shown? I feel like it almost, I would love this. Kind of a mixture of a gameplay story trailer, okay? Like a 2.5 minute where it's got some game stuff in it. It's not just all CG or things like that, right? And then you do like a 5 to 10 minute gameplay presentation. That's not all that uncommon. Like, that does happen, or that has happened before, where you'll combine a gameplay thing and then an actual trailer. And there could be gameplay in the trailer, but you combine both of them together. So in terms of literally what I want that. In terms of, I guess, the quality of it and like more of that side of things, it needs to be good. Good is subjective for sure, but with how BioWare has been, and while I think I have, and I think many people, like BioWare kind of diehards, right? We've given them a lot of, maybe not even benefit of the doubt, but we've just given them opportunities, right? It seems like they're on the up and up. They're kind of rebuilding. They're bringing in veterans. They seem to have it figured out in words and maybe actions in terms of the hiring talent, okay? But not in the actual releases, not in what we've actually gotten. They have proven nothing. And I do think that's important to remember. I also think it's important to remember just from the general gaming industry or gamers in general, where it's like you've got to prove that if this, and this is what I mean by this, if this game gets shown and it's hot garbage, it's not going to go over well. It's been years, not just since the last BioWare game. You could even argue the last good BioWare game, but then also you can say the last Dragon Age game. So all of those things I feel like have stacked. And first impressions, you may have heard this saying, first impressions are everything. I really think that's true. And they've got to start off good. And I'm not saying you can't win people back. I do think it's possible. I think it's harder, but I do think, with the proper trailer, the proper gameplay presentation, I think there are absolutely ways, and I think we've seen it kind of play out in real time. There are ways to turn things around and to say, okay, look, maybe that was just a bad trailer. Maybe that was a bad first step. Here's just a better trailer. Here's a better look at the game. The game is ultimately going to speak for itself, though, right? Like, that's the big thing. The game is either good or, okay, there's maybe like different tiers to it. Good, bad, whatever. You can only show it off so many ways, right? Like, at the core of it, the game is either going to please people or not please people or whatever. So you got to let the game do the talking, hence why I prefer like meatier trailers and then also gameplay presentations. So you let the game talk. It's less about what the people say. It's more about what the game actually not just looks like, how it feels, how it acts, what's the new mechanics, what's the old mechanics, all that stuff. And I think that's going to be very important for a game like this just due to their history, how long it's been for Dragon Age, and the pressure, also, I guess, the future. If this game doesn't do good, I would be very afraid for BioWare. I would not even guarantee a Mass Effect game. I don't want to go all the way, but I really feel like a lot of BioWare rests on Dragon Age doing at least okay. Like, if the game's fine, I don't think the entire team is getting shut down or BioWare is dead. But if the game is absolute garbage and the game sells pathetically, I think Mass Effect gets canceled. I think BioWare is done. I truly believe that. And that is going pretty far, but that is worst case scenario. I don't think it's going to be worst case scenario. I think at worst, it'll be a fine game. At best, it will finally say, okay, BioWare is back, right? Which is what we want. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.